Good morning, welcome, oh, should I say good afternoon. And I've lost track of time again, but you know, they say time has no meaning, so yeah, that's my life these days. Time is of no relevance some days to me, and I'm fortunate that I work from home, you know, so I'm not on a time schedule and I work for myself. Again, what I've worked towards, you know, these many years, and my path, my calling. So yeah, I'm very lucky that way. I know that others don't really have that option. But, so I will just get straight into the reading. And I was drawn to my Beyond Lemuria Oracle cards this morning. Beautiful deck. So colourful and, you know, visual and all of that, you know. Lemuria, beautiful beings, absolutely beautiful. I am one. So, root chakra. Oh, everything comes crumbling down again. Let's have a look. Oh. Real time this is happening. Real time. I'm not going to start the video again. No. So, yeah. First cards come out. Root chakra. And I just want you to take this beautiful card in. I'll move my nails out of the way. And this symbol here. Very powerful healing in these cards. Yeah, grounding we're going to be speaking about, and how important it is on our spiritual, you know, journeys. And I found this out the hard way, right at the beginning of my spiritual awakening, my twin flame awakening. Yeah, I wasn't grounding enough. I wasn't grounding near enough. It wasn't really part of my daily practice. I just used to go straight into, you know, my yoga, and yeah, should have known really, should have known better. But yeah, you know, this journey, it's learning. You're learning constantly. So grounding brings in stability and centeredness, and you know, being in the here and now. And yeah, I was drawn to this light card just before coming online. Not always drawn to light cards to show to my viewers, but yeah, sometimes when the downloads come in. And this light card is time, presence, flow, freedom, breathe. And it's all to do with being in the here and now, you know, very much in the here and now. And that is where, you know, when you are grounded, you are in the here and now. You know, you're not anywhere else, you're in the present. So being in the here and now is so important on your spiritual path. Why? Because when you start your spiritual ascension, you can get physical symptoms of feeling disoriented, spacey, dizzy, you know. I had all of that. I was walking around literally like I wasn't here. I was like here in physical, but when people was talking to me, you know, it was like I was looking through them, you know. I wasn't really present. I wasn't there, you know. So when I brought in the grounding, I had the balance of the two, you know, the earth plane and the spiritual. So I was anchored. And that is so important. You need to anchor into, you know, the earth, because, yeah, like I've just explained, you can be away with yourself, you know. I called it away with the fairies. I literally did not feel like I was here. I was living my life, going through the motions, you know. I was doing everything that I needed to do, and some days I wasn't even doing that in the early stages because I couldn't function I was too in the high realms, you know, at that stage, until you know, spirit team brought in grounding, and I ground every day now without fail. In fact, just before coming on here, and I'm still on it, I'm on a grounding mat. So when I can't get outside for certain reasons to do with my you know, my path, I ground on my grounding mat, you know, that it comes in very, very handy, you know, when I can't get out into nature, and it's cold outside today, so, you know, I'll bring my grounding inside, and the grounding mats are perfect for that, and there's some brilliant ones out there. And so, yeah, so grounding, it's so important to anchor and balance, you know, the flow of our energy within our body. So, you know, everything is energy, and I feel energy, and I'm an energy healer, and everything is energy for us all, you know. So when we anchor the two, when we balance the two, that's when we feel stable. And just the other day, my sister came with me to work on my stove, and she yeah, I've seen that look in many, many people during, you know, these 7 years I've been learning this path myself. She looked away with the fairies, and I said, have you been grounded? And, you know, she's going through her spiritual ascension. I told her years back, I said, I think you've spiritually waking up, you know. And she was like, what do you mean? And because I am a seer, I had to go ahead of people. I'm not the only one. There's many, many light workers, twin flames. We had to go ahead of the pack, they called it. We are guiding, we are leading the way, you know, for this new golden age. And I got this download years back saying you have to go ahead, and I thought, oh great, why me, you know? But yeah, there was many, and I knew there was many, but yeah, I could see she was spiritually working also. So it's like I've got a radar for the spiritually, you know, that I just awakening up to it, and we all are, you know, we are all in the new earth. We're in the new golden age, you know. This global awakening, it's what we all are, you know. We're going into a high consciousness, the new earth, you know. So yeah, I understood that, but I was just one of the ones that had to go ahead. And yeah, you know, it's quite a strange feeling. It's quite, you know, you going ahead of the pack, knowing and seeing and feeling things that others can't, but you know that's going to come for them. It's quite a strange feeling, you know, and you do question yourself. You think, well, if I'm feeling all this and I'm seeing all this and I'm seeing signs from the universe, well, why aren't they? Well, it wasn't their time to awake yet, you know. I'm also an awakener, so anyone that comes into contact, I awaken. That's part of my twin flame. I know that I awaken people. So yeah, so it's, you know, grounding is just so important on this journey. I spoke about it from day one because I remember the strange physical symptoms and emotional, you know, because when you destabilize, you know, your emotions and everything, you know, it affects everything, your mental, yeah, you know, it affected me in every way. It affected me mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you know. Although I knew that obviously I was spiritually awakening, I knew that, but I couldn't, I wasn't stabilized enough, you know, to function at that point. I had to stabilize this powerful energy surging, you know, through me, affecting my emotional, my mental, my spiritual, everything, my full being. I had to stabilize it, and grounding, it's perfect. So we need grounding to, yeah, you know, to stabilize us both, to, you know, to earth and to heaven, the saying, you know, because when you start spiritually ascending, you are you are on this path. When I speak of when your soul's ready to wake, it's going to wake up. Yes, you can stall it, but when your soul's ready to wake, just like man, I could stall it, but I was only fighting against myself, you know. It was going to happen because it had to happen. It's part of my path to help others. So when I did finally, you know, stop stalling it, I was all in the spiritual, but I was so much in the spiritual. I had to come back down a little bit because I couldn't function, couldn't cook tea normally. I couldn't just get through the day normally. It's like I was drunk, but I didn't drink. So yeah, permanently felt drunk and spacey. But once I broke the grounding in, yeah, miles better. I could balance the two, and it's about the balance, you know. So yeah, without the grounding, we do become disorientated. We need that grounding, but yeah, you know. So the further you get on this path, you know, your spiritual upgrades come in also. You know, I recognise my spiritual upgrades are coming in. I can get really, really exhausted because of the energy work I've done, you know, prior to an upgrade. And I know that now. I've been on this path long enough now to know the signs. And when I'm going into a hermit mode again, I don't worry about it because I know that's very much needed. So when I get took away from business and it goes quiet, I don't worry about it because I know that's very much needed in myself. You know, my path is totally different to my partner's, you know. His business is totally different to mine. And that's what I have to keep, you know, saying. I'm like, my job is not a job, it's a calling. That's not an ego thing, because on this path I've balanced my ego out, you know. I've done that work. It's just a different path that I'm on, you know, and I live with a partner who's on a different path to me. So, you know, we've had battles there, you know, but it's about striking that balance. He understands now that my path is completely different to his, and it's not shutting down anytime soon, you know. In fact, it's speeding up, and he understands that also. But I understand his as well. I understand that he doesn't understand my path, you know. And yeah, we accept each other for who we really are now, you know. There's no judging of, like at first he would judge me, and he's honest about this. He did judge me, because he didn't understand it, you know. But I never judged him in all the years I've been with him. I've never judged him, not knowingly, you know. But yeah, he did my path, and yeah, rightly so. It's a strange path, you know. And when you've lived with a partner that long, and you think, well, whoa, what's the change here? It's not you know, it's not menopause. It's not just she's going through the menopause, but yeah, I'm going through that as well. You know, I'm at those big transition stages of you know, different phases of life that we go through, you know, as women and men. But yeah, I am going through that stage. I am 40s, you know. I should be going through that stage. I'm 47. So yeah, that's a big transition. I've just recently lost my mum. That's a big transition. I'm going through some major life changes, as well as I've already been on this spiritual awakening path for 7 years, you know. So that was the biggest transition of my entire life, you know. When my spiritual awakening hit, I thought, whoa, what is this? I'm never going to be the same again. Yeah, I knew. My soul knew. But getting off the beaten track, I always do this. But it's part of it. It just channels through me. But the root chakra, so important. We need to ground so we can. So yeah, we can stabilize these powerful energy shifts that's, you know, occurring in us all. We're raising that frequency when we're leveling up each time. You know, that frequency is raising. That's what I talk about, the upgrades. Mine are getting stronger and stronger, you know, the more that I'm raising my frequency. But yeah, grounding keeps me stable, you know, so I can be in the both. I can be in heaven and I can be on earth, you know. I can be in the spiritual and I can be grounded. I can have the both now, whereas before, yeah, I was a bit too away with spirit, you know. They want you there, but they also know you have to function on this earthly plane that we're in, you know. We are light workers, we are twin flames, we are very, very powerful beings. Every one of us are. It doesn't matter about, you know, the labels of us. Every one of us holds these gifts inside us, you know. But we also need to be very, very grounded on the earth plane where we live, you know. So, yeah, you know, so you can also connect with your inner guidance, and it's very, very good for your health also to be grounded. You know, you feel more stable in yourself. Your mental clarity is more clearer. Yeah, you just feel stable. You know, the root is your stability. It's your foundation. You know, and if you've got a rocky foundation, you don't feel stable. So, yeah, grounding. It's just so important. Nature, that's the best. I mean, it's free, you know. I mean, I bought a grounding mat. I didn't have to, but I know that this journey of mine can take me away from people. It can put me in isolation. So I've brought nature inside. I've got lots and lots of plants around my home. I've brought that nature inside to me. So in the winter months also, when I don't go out as much, I can still ground, you know. I'm around that energy, plants, you know, the oxygen. I'm around all that. My grounding mat, I can ground, you know. There's electrons in my body. It stabilizes. It's you know, I brought nature into my home, and you know, it's good when you can't get outside to bring that nature inside. But obviously, nature, if you can get outside and, you know, wrap up and walk and be amongst the trees, and yeah, hug a tree. I mean, I've hugged a tree. I'm not embarrassed to say that, because I got guided to on my path home one night. You know, it's energy, the beautiful, you know. And then straight after I hugged this tree, my elemental light language came in, you know. And yeah, nobody was about, and it was beautiful. And yeah, nature, you know, it's just so powerful and healing. And yeah, you know, I don't go around hugging trees in my daily life, you know, but I have. And yeah, and it's energy, it's beautiful. It's just, you know, it's what we are. So yeah, it's about that balance, you know, the two in balance. So we can be grounded, you know, stabilized, and we can, well, they're saying that being grounded is the first step on this journey. So having that stable foundation is very, very important. And then, you know, you then can expand into, you know, your spiritual wings, you know, your wings on the spiritual path. Because that's what you're heading towards, you know. When you start spiritual awakening, you're going to find your wings. And that's why I came across When Women Had Wings oracle deck, because they won't be talking about our wings, because we've all got them. Yes, some are more tattered and torn and hidden, but yeah, once you start on this spiritual awakening path, you're going to find your wings, you know. And I call them angel wings. I think we've all got angel wings, and they're saying yes, they are your angel wings. But yeah, so grounding was the first card that came out. And that was the automatic writing that stopped there. So the rest of the cards, I shall just read as I go along. This was the second card, Beyond the Mind. Wow, look at that. The light just shines out. Now, beyond the mind to me, well, this journey beyond my mind was getting beyond that ego mind, you know, the control, you know, that, and the conditioning of my mind, you know, of society even. Everything that's been conditioned in me, you know, from this life and past life. Yeah, that to me means seeing beyond this realm also, you know. The mind is good for certain things, but you can also get that chatter, you know, that mental chatter can come in. I call it monkey mind. And that's why I do yoga daily, and that's why, you know, I do my spiritual practice daily. I have to, because I feel energy, and if I don't bring myself down to earth, shall I say, if I don't ground, whoa, yeah, I'm away. Like, I can feel when the energy is too far in my crown, you know, my crown chakra. I can tell I need to bring it down and I need to ground. You know, just this morning I've just finished a webinar on light language, and yeah, I grounded all the way through that, because I know how powerful it is, and I know I feel spacey and out of it, you know, after coming out of that. But I'll read some from the book, and it says, beyond the mind, thinking with the heart, being present, heart and mind connection, meditation, the bliss of being, quieting the monkey mind. Yeah, you know, I call it monkey mind. It's like I see little monkeys just jumping, you know? And it's like when you're on your yoga mat and you think, I've got the dishes to do. Well, I've learned how to be in the present now. You know, I've learned that through, yeah, practices like my light curves, to bring me back to the present, so I can enjoy what I'm doing at that present time. You know, what is the point in doing something enjoyable if your mind is taking you away from that enjoyment? There's no point. So, you know, I was getting quite frustrated with myself, thinking, I really want to enjoy my yoga. This is my time, my physical, you know, time for my body, you know, because that's so important for our health, to keep physically moving. And I was just getting took away from it because I wasn't, you know, as disciplined enough to stop that monkey mind. Now I am. I can tune out pretty quick. And that's for the use of light codes also. They've really helped me come on leaps and bounds. So fathoming the unfathomable, these words, finding happiness within and going beyond intellectual limitation. So I'll just read a little bit. I won't go into it all because we'll be running into an hour, and these readings can get very long. So the mind is a wonderful tool for moving us through the logistical elements of life so we can function in this world. Yeah, we need to function, you know. It'd be beautiful if we could just all be in spirit. But we have to function. We have to get things done. You know, I'm on the earth plane, but I'm very much more spiritual. I know that. I'm meant to be. But I'm also on the earth plane. I'm a soul on earth, you know, for this mission in this timeline. But I also need to be grounded, you know, in the Ellie sense, you know. I'm here as Ellie, but I know, you know, in my soul, I'm a soul, so to speak. So yeah, I have to balance that too. So it says here, so however, it's endless chatter, self-doubt, limiting stories and subconscious programs can also keep us in our suffering. Yeah, I had to go into, you know, my dark night, my ego mind, to stop that chatter, to stop my suffering. You know, I was in a lot of suffering for many years. Most of it my own doing, you know, that monkey mind, that the stories I tell myself, yeah, and what's been conditioned inside self, you know, for this lifetime, past lifetimes. So yeah, I had to do that work. So one of the fundamental problems with mind chatter is that it takes us out of the present moment. And that's why I brought this light code in, Spirit brought it in. You know, it's as soon as we are in the past or future, we can no longer be in our most empowered, and that is in the present. I did a reading on this not long back, and it was about being in the present. And Eckhart Tolle, I've read his book, In the Now. And yeah, that's where you manifest. Everything is in the now. So, you know, when we when we're living in the past and visiting old things, and old wounds and old hurts and pains, we're reliving that over and over and over again. We're doing it to ourselves at that point because the pain has already been done. So when you learn to leave that past in the past and not think about the future also, because again, it works the other way. When you're thinking too far into the future, what might happen? Well, that's going to happen. You can make it happen. I did another reading on this the other day, and it was about what you think you create. Yeah, I've done it many times where I've thought of something and I've spoken it out loud, and then next minute it's happened, and it might not be something good, So I'm very, very, very aware now. What I think I create, what I speak I create. I hold that magic inside me to create what I want to happen in my life. And, that is about being in the now. They say here, the most empowered is in the present. Yeah, it truly, truly is. So, when we're stuck in the past or worrying about our future, we are not in control of our now. We're not in command of our now. All we are doing is draining our energy and removing ourselves from the beauty of this incredible moment where anything is possible. Yeah, I was just for years going into working and creating these beautiful gifts for others and crystal candles and, all my creations coming from love. But for years, I was just on utter. I was just creating and following this path, yes, and following Spirit's guidance, yes, but I wasn't enjoying it, and I should have been in the now. For many, many years, I wasn't, until I brought in this light code: time, presence, flow, freedom, breathe. And the light code's called K-Mac, and, it's a symbol of freedom and being present, So until I brought that in, I really, really couldn't stay in the now. I've got miles there. In fact, yeah, I live in the now and I create in the now. And I know that everything is in the now, So it's that mind chatter. I had to get past that monkey mind. Those old conditionings, those programs that have been, limiting stories, subconscious programs, that's kept me there, No, not no more. I'm in the now, and that is where we all should be. The saying, we all should strive to be in the now. Anything else? So yeah, they say, just to bring you into the now, the grounding, sit in silence, and that monkey mind gets less and less and less, and yeah, you get more clarity, answers come to you as well. So if you've been looking for, problem solving, answers come to you. That's why I go on my meditation, into meditation daily, and before bed also. You're more receptive at those times in the morning, first thing waking up and last thing at night going to bed. You're just more receptive. But yeah, that's what brings me back into the now, the grounding, being centered. So the next card came out was communication, co-creation. Just take this beautiful card in. Oh, I love these cards. I think my phone's wonky because, yeah, my phone's definitely wonky because I'm, yeah. They're saying stop messing about, Ellie. Yeah, and I've also realised my inner child is online. More so that I'm in the now. Now I'm in the now. More. My inner child is is more present as well inside myself. You know, I'm laughing. I'm laughing more. I'm being myself more. That authenticity. You know, I'm not hiding it. I'm you know, it's too exhausting to hide who you really are, and you can't help others on this path if you are truly hiding yourself, you know, and you're hiding your gifts. I realised once I surrendered, I had to surrender it all, and I had to let my soul lead the way. I couldn't hide from others anymore. I couldn't hide I was a twin flame anymore. I couldn't hide my very, very beautiful spiritual gifts anymore. I couldn't hide anything because it was really making me physically ill also. Emotionally ill, you know, it was causing a lot of things in me. And the minute I stopped hiding, and the minute I came online and I started sharing, you know, my spiritual gifts. I've been sharing for many years, but not as openly as I am now. But that's because I've done the work, and you have to live in your authenticity. That is what I'm showing people as well. That's what I'm guiding others to do, is to live in their true authenticity, you know, because when you do, and you come from the heart, and you're not scared to show the world that you're coming from the heart, and you're living in your true authentic self, wow, you open up such a, you open up that magic, you know, you start seeing magic everywhere. And I really have. And I knew I was coming up to this point, because it's a knowing. My soul knows it. But still, I have to do the work. I have to push through things. I have to have those upgrades. So it's all still happening for me. You know, I'll forever be learning. I'll forever be pushing myself more, you know, just a little bit more and more. But it gets easier. And the more, you know, the minute I stepped into sharing this on my online channel, I feel free. That's it. It's just a freedom that it's just like a weight of it's being lifted from you, you know. And to communicate and co-create with spirit, I have to be authentic. They want me to be authentic, and that's part of what I'm teaching others to be. So this card: non-verbal communication, love language, telepathy, unique ways of communication, light language, multidimensional information, community, coexistence, relationships, meeting our higher selves, really seeing someone deeper, listening. Really, you know, being yourself. I do get telepathy. Now people might be like, you know, but I've had that. I'm used to that on this path. But that's not going to change what I do get through, you know. It's not, no matter the amount of people judging me or saying it's not true, is going to change my soul path. So I had to accept that, you know, that this was my calling. And just because others don't see or feel what I do, that does not make it real, you know. So the acceptance on this path is so important as well. Accepting yourself and, you know, your spiritual gifts, and accepting you are co-creating with, you know, spirit. So we normally think of information as something that can be written or spoken, but if something is multidimensional, it is almost impossible to share it with words. When my multidimensional self came online, I was like, whoa, what is this now? You know, another upgrade coming in. I'd heard of it. One of my light worker friends had said, has your multidimensional self come online yet, Ellie? Or your light language? And I thought, no, not quite. It's trying to, but it's not quite, I'm not quite ready yet. I've not quite, you know, had that upgrade. But I also know that this person holds very, very powerful spiritual gifts, and a healer herself, you know. And the minute she turned up at my stall, I knew it was spirit sending her, co-creating, you know, through her to get to me to, yeah, to awaken this light language in me. And I kid you not, but that next night I got home and the downloads was flooding in, and it was a solid week or two of getting my body prepared, doing astral projection and getting my body prepared to yeah, be in this light language online, fully speak it. And yeah, not long after it came flooding through. And I knew, I also know that when I met this lovely lady, healer, she had a part to play in my soul ascension. I knew that. I could feel she was, part of my soul tribe. And she'd spoken it out loud to me since, that she felt the same also. And that's the thing, we're co-creating. We're not on our own on this path. We're co-creating with spirit, but we're also light workers, twin flames. We found each other. We're meant to. We're not on our own. We're working as a collective, for the collective. We're working as a group of light workers, beings for the collective. We're not on our own. But yeah, so it says here, it's impossible to share in words. Yeah, when people say, what's light language? I can't explain it. I say you have to experience it. So come and see me, have a Reiki session, and my light language just flows in. It never used to, but yeah, it's part of it. It's part of the healing. I give out now. And it says, I feel I have quite a lot of this information in my field now, and yet my intelligence cannot fathom it. Metaphor or song may hint as its vastness, but it's more like a reminder or catalyst that encourages something to stir inside the listener. Yeah, my light language activated after this lady came to my stall, my friend, and also after I found a transmission and listened to that, and it stirred something up in me. And within an hour after listening to that transmission, yes, I did the work prior to it, but there was just blocks there. There was some more blocks I had to push through. And after listening to this transmission, well, an hour later on my yoga mat, I started talking this ancient, beautiful language. So yeah, I had to do the work. And yeah, listen to my higher self. A deeper listening, they're saying. I had to go deeper. I wasn't quite deep enough, which I thought I was, but no, this was I didn't think I could go to another higher, level upgrade, but I was wrong. Very, very wrong. So yeah, they say art is one way I have sought to share this information. This is this lady speaking in this book. So she this information, this is her artwork. Beautiful artwork. So art is one way I have sought to share this information. Whatever language you speak, the emotion and message of art and music can be understood. Yeah, if you've been following me, music, that music telepathy I get from spirit and in my twin flame connection. That's how I communicate with my viewers, my listeners. I understand, that music is spiritual. It communicates, that soul level. And this lady says, in my healing work, where I feel the energy that comes through hands, there is a sense that my soul and that of the client are in deep conversation. Yeah, so when I do my Reiki sessions, I connect with their energy body, to mine prior to the session. And yeah, I feel that connection between us. I feel their emotions. I can start crying. I feel what they're hiding in a way. I've come out of sessions saying, you know, about hidden emotions, suppressed emotions that people are holding down, and they've been, well, no, I'm not like that, and then they've gone home and they've cried. So I felt that, you know, we become one. The saying, I merge into their, you know, their energy field, and then me. Yeah, I have to disconnect also, you know, prior to them leaving the session. I also know that, you know, that we disconnect energies, you know, that energy. Yeah, it's all energy. So, yeah, I think the co-creation with spirit, you know, it's constant. I'm co-creating constantly with spirit. And that deeper listening has come through. The saying, I can feel you grounding now, Ellie. Because I don't know if you can tell the difference in my energy when I came online. I'd just done the webinar, and yeah, I was quite woo, you know, why I was saying it's so important to ground. I'm on my grounding mat, and I can feel. I've also got Tiger's Eye on me, and that's helping me. I can feel now I'm grounding. I can feel my energy's coming more grounded. I can hear it also, and yeah, and I'm surrounded by, you know, the grounded light code, and yeah, that in the presence, the now. So yeah, you know, everything what I've just basically been saying, yeah, I have to be what's the word? Discerning. I have to be discerning about what I need on my spiritual path also. I know I'm helping others and guiding others, but for me to do that, I have to be grounded, you know? I want you to take that symbol in and just say, I ground, I ground, I ground. You know, if you're feeling the spiritual ascension symptoms today, you know, the 12-12 portal, it can be quite intense energy, you know, we can feel quite, yeah, in the spiritual realm, too much. And that's why they brought the root chakra up, you know, it's so important to ground on this journey, to get that balance of the two. You know, we are on a spiritual journey, we are spiritual beings, but we also are on the earth plane. We need to ground. That is so important. Oh, and I can feel my energy grounding now. Oh, that's better. I'm coming back round now, you know. Yeah, they're saying that's better, Ellie. Yeah, that is better. I can feel it. I can feel it. So this was the last card that came up, and it's the soul star chakra. And you know, that's our connection to the divine. Another beautiful card and another symbol I want you to take in there. So we've grounded, so we've spoken I ground, I ground, I ground. And this is, you know, the merging with the divine. Yeah, look what I was just speaking about in my Reiki sessions that I offer. I have to ground, so I will ground when I first start the session off, and I also have to merge with the divine. You know, I have to call that. I have to call my guides in. You know, and yeah, I have to merge the two. So I know how important it is to be grounded and also be in co-creation with spirit and listen to my highest self and that deeper listening, but also be grounded while I'm channeling. I know the importance of that on this journey. So merging with the divine. I'll just read from the book. But yeah, that's, you know, the soul star chakra. I did light language with the violet flame, bringing the violet flame through for the soul star chakra not long back. And that was the last chakra, which was the crown, and the violet flame for the rainbow bridge. Rainbow bridge sessions that I was doing, you know. So we worked from the root, the foundation of us, we worked from that. Then we went to the sacral, then we went to the solar plexus, then we went to the heart, then we went to the throat, then we went to the third eye, then we got to the soul star chakra, the merging of, you know, that rainbow bridge. I worked up because the rainbow bridge was coming through, downloads, rainbow bridge, you know. So I knew I had to do the rainbow bridge, you know, sessions for us all. And yeah, let's get on to this card. Oh, I feel better now. Whew, see, so it's so important to ground, especially when the energies are very, very high at this time. And they are, you know, these portals can be, they're energetic gateways, you know, so they're creating energetic shifts in us all the time. And we've just come through the 11:11. You know, there's major energy shifts happening in this, you know, this new golden age we're in. So I'll just read a little bit from this, and it's transcendence, letting go, being filled with divine light, channeling, karmic records, the bridge between the spiritual and the physical realms, ascensions. Yeah, you know, that route to the soul star. You know, that's your rainbow bridge. You're working up. You're upgraded. That's why I brought in the, well, they brought in the same. They brought in the Lemurian healing prior to the soul star chakra. That was just to, you know, set that foundation for us. Very, very powerful soul star chakra and the violet flame. So that's why they brought in the Lemurian prior to it. So this image captures, do you want me to hold it up again? This image captures the merging of time beyond space and kaleidoscopic wisdom that penetrates our being. We have lived in many worlds, all interconnected. They uphold the lessons they carry as messages of transformation. Yeah, we know we're multidimensional beings. We are not just one thing. We've lived in many worlds. Their synergy creates light between our stardust. Their synergy creates the expansion of the universe. Gaze into the place where the light between our stardust can become anything, and collective evolution is part of a grander story. Yeah, you know, this new golden age, it's global awakening. We're all evolving, and it is a collective effort. It's not just one. We're doing this together. We're all in it together. We are one, they're saying. We are never separate. So when we simply let go, we become all that we have been seeking and glimpse the greater dream. Yeah, we do. You know, I glimpse magic daily now. As whimsical as that may sound, I've done the work. I see that magic now. It's inside us all. Not one of us is more special than the other. We all hold this inside us. We hold this light inside us. We are the light, they are saying. Eko shonomaye, e soto shonoye, eko shamane, ekoti, ekoti, ekoti. We are the light, we are the light, we are the light. E soto shonoyo. So don't be afraid. Okeshato, to shine. Eso dia, dear ones. Thank you. And that was just a little Lemurian coming through. Just grounding. So yeah, remember that you are an infinite being with the ability to expand your awareness beyond space and time. Consider that paradigms outside this physical reality may be unfathomable until we raise our vibration and can think outside the mind. Yeah, beyond the mind. They want us to think beyond the mind. So meditate on the idea that everything that ever was and ever will be is happening simultaneously right now across multiple dimensions. And the themes, it says karma, or what can be implemented or cleared for your optimal progress towards ascension. Yeah, very powerful message. Oh, and I've just been directed to this. So this is my Vex, and I drew the cards prior to coming on by guidance from Spirit. I left it like this, and it was just at the side of me, and I've just been being guided to this card on the top, which I'm going to take now. And the Lemurian language that just came through, light language, shine your light. Can't make this path up. Can't. Signs and synchronicities everywhere. Shine your light. Number 44 also, the 144, that number resonates very deeply with me. If you're seeing 444 or 144, yeah, shine your light. Don't be afraid. Just like they came through then. Don't be afraid to shine your light. Eo shinia, e sokotoyo, e yonaye, e mashonono ia kesuya, e shotoye, masaka eo shonono, amakasione ti shonono. By shining your light, you show others their light inside. You become the lighthouse, that light in the dark. Wow. See, these readings, they just take a life of their own, and I know that now. And I used to be like, well, am I supposed to know it all before I come online? Like that channeling, because I was automatic writing. But I've realised now, I mean, I was channeling through cards anyway. I have been doing that for many years for myself and for, family and friends. But I've realised that part of my channeling is the automatic writing, but also while I am online, and it just takes on a whole life of its own, and yeah, I didn't know they speak in the light language. But I should expect it when these cards come out. That, yeah, light language will come out with me. Oh, so that's it. That's the message from the beautiful Lemurian. Ooh, Lemurians. You know, Lemuria, that is one of my main remembrances of any past life. It was one of the first remembrances that came back to me. Yeah. And I'd never heard the word Lemuria before. Ever. Until my soul remembered. That's what it's past about. You know, you're bringing those fragments back to yourself and the remembrance of your multidimensional self. And with that, you're bringing your light back to yourself. And I shall leave it there because it's nearly an hour. And I shall speak to you all soon. Bye.